Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Dr. Subhashish Mishra, sir. Sir, welcome you in our Atal FDP program. Sir is the
Thank you.
assistant professor at CZ Patel College of Business Management, Vitthal Udyognagar, Anand, Gujarat. Sir has completed his PhD in the hotel management in 2018 from the Udaipur. Sir has completed his MPhil in hospitality management in 2009 from the Nagaland. Completed his MSc in hotel management in 2008 from the Mumbai, and completed his diploma study in 1996 from the Dungarpur, West Bengal, AICT MHRD, Government of India. Sir has done his research and presented on inclusive development and sustainability and peace through tourism and hospitality. Sir done research project on customer satisfaction on mid-size hotels. He has published more than 12 national and international research and review paper in well-reputed journals. Got an appreciation letter for the ISO certification as a deputy management representative at CZ Patel College of Business Management, New Vallabh Vidyanagar. Got an appreciation letter for the organizing a national conference on tourism development and sustainability by the same college. Got a certificate for presenting a research paper in national conference on inclusive development and sustainability and peace through the tourism and hospitality at Chandigarh Group of College, London. Taken a workshop on personality development and hospitality management held by NFCI Mohali. Appointed as an external examiner in Hotel and Tourism Management Department at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. Got a Best Employee of the Month in the ITC Fortune Landmark, Ahmedabad. Got a certificate of Best Professional in a Quality in Salin, Ahmedabad. Got a certificate of Upsell Champ of the Month in a Kama Flight Catering, Ahmedabad. Sir has conducted one-day workshop on a food without fire for the NSS students. Cluster training program at Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited at Anand. Skill development program at Sardar Patel University, Vallabh Vidyanagar. In his work experience, he has worked at a hotel operational trainee at the Hotel Indar Residency, Ahmedabad. Also, he has worked as a reception head steward at Salim All Suite Hotel, Ahmedabad. Food and beverage supervisor at Kama Park Plaza, Flight Catering Division, Ahmedabad. Unit manager at Sterling Resort Group, Ahmedabad. Teaching faculty at Asia Pacific Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Assistant professor at CZ Patel College of Business Management, Vallabh Vidyanagar. Program coordinator at Asia Pacific Institute of Hotel Management, Ahmedabad. Sir is currently working as an assistant professor grade 3 at CZ Patel College of Business and Management. Sir, we welcome you once again in our faculty development program. Now over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naitik. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
I would like to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my sincere thank to Dr. Naitik Trivedi for his personal professional pursuit in inviting me as one of the resource person. I would be talking about a teacher, a journey of a teacher, a journey as a teacher, and the ethics in teaching. So today's session's agenda is we need to understand who is a teacher. I hope all of we attending this FDB, we are all teacher. But then this definition is not limiting to the profession only, because we are more than a teacher. We are learner, we are teaching facilitator, we are mentor, we are shaping the entire nation. We are the teacher for all professions. So the professionals we create. Then why teachers should be aware of ethics? I mean, yes, that we always are confined with ethical practices. Then we need to understand why teachers should be aware of it. What are the consequences of not knowing the right things? That is equally important. And how to avoid any inconvenience in professional endeavors. Yes, we as teachers sometimes feel difficulties, face inconvenience, and how best possible ways to, I mean, safeguard ours, because we are into such responsible position. Now, what is there in a teaching profession? Because when we talk about teaching, uh, before I rigorously start, I mean, I'm just going very slow. But then my humble request, if I miss out something in between, you are welcome to interrupt me and remind me. I hope I'm audible all the time, because I'm looking at my screen and I can't see you all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And my screen is
Right.
visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right.
Visible, sir.
Okay. What is there in a teaching profession? My question is to all of you. See, this is basically an interactive session. So teaching often referred to as job, sometimes as career, and even as profession, but it is far more than that. We consider the choice as a way of life or even a way of being. What you are today is teaching, is a profession. So we basically uh, are into teaching profession not by accidents and by choice. I think many of you agree with the statement. So we are not by accident. If I talk little about myself, as Dr. Naitik already highlighted, I worked for a couple of years in the corporate, but then I thought enough is enough. I need to switch on to this academic, because I liked academics so much so I was into learning and development in ITC hotels. And I thought that yes, I can contribute in shaping the future leader, thereby contributing immensely to the society. So even to me, teaching profession never came to me by accident. Yes, I made a choice, and for which I am proud. Yes, and it is way of being today what I am. Some glimpses of a teacher. So here I need to understand, to tell you to understand that the teachers, they are reflecting some images to the society. Those glimpses I'm talking about, it is remarkable when you consider that teacher's journey is one of the adventure. Each year we encounter with new students, yes, for everybody, and become a part of their lives, just as they become members of your community. We are witness to their joys and their sorrows. We watch them learn, they grow, they mature. So we indeed create a model of, you know, the teaching learning process. So this is one of the fabulous things that I wanted to remind you all, that yes, teacher journey is similar to, like, it is adventurous. Adventurous in a way, like, you know, when we talk about adventure, adventure is nothing usual. It is very unusual. So I mean, when I write, we encounter with new students. Yes, it is not meeting with the new students. You actually encounter with new students with new ideas, new approaches, new lifestyles, everything, something or other, something is new, and you become part of their lives. They grow, they share many joys, their sorrows, they learn, they grow, they mature, and they show you. I mean, when we as teacher, particularly, I'm into this profession for the last a decade plus. I have not seen the whole world, but yes, I see the whole world through the eyes of my students. So this is indeed we create a model. Certain myths we need to understand. So I call it a myth buster. Time for reality check. When I talk about this, we need to understand and we need to check ourselves because we are into this noble profession. So time for a reality check, lest we get completely carried away. Teaching represents the best of times and the worst of times as well, because all understand the pandemic, the prevailed situation in the past, and the prevailing one at present. But yes, we are fortunate enough, 10th onward, even into institution of higher education, we are conducting offline classes. But think of students, think of teachers who are not fortunate like us. Anyways, there are days when we cannot believe we actually get paid for our work. Yet, there are other times we want to bang our head against the wall in frustration, wondering what the heck we are even doing in this God's forsaken profession. Something which is unappreciated and disrespected as well. See, this is basically we as teacher most of the time we think, because this is out of if a human feeling, a human psychology that sometimes work, and we really bang our hands uh, and hold our head in our hands. So I'm not talking about frustration, but yes, sometimes it is unappreciated and disrespected. But this is an uh, myth buster in a way. I've clearly quoted it. We sometimes encounter with serious issues or challenges in our own life. I mean, the life that we lead, and that actually creates such kind of a negative uh, aspects in our uh, career path. So, what is a big deal theory? I mean, you think you just reflect the thought process of a student who always think that I know everything. I'm okay, right? They ask the teacher, the professor. Wrong. There should be appropriate time for everything you do. That we teacher always say to our students. I'm talking about the teacher's journey. Now, when we talk about teacher's journey is not always an, uh, I mean, like a smooth sailing boat. It is full of adventure. Now, what is there in this adventure? I wanted to tell you, and I wanted to remind you of. The teacher's journey is filled with trials and tribulations. This is one most important, quote that you normally get. Trials and tribulations are basically all forms of we call permutation and combination, the statistics that is directly associated with our profession. Just as one would expect during any adventure, much of the time we feel lost without an accurate map or working compass. So during any adventure, we normally we feel. I mean, when you go to an unknown place, like we always see a map or some working compass to understand the direction or how the wind gets blows. I mean, what are the ways uh, to come out to a solution to in an unknown place. So there are obstacles to overcome and adversaries to face, but also exciting and novel experiences. There are many adversaries are there. Now, when I talk about adversaries, yes, those are basically the big obstacles that we sometimes face. If I talk about 21st century teaching learning process, it is no less than uh, obstacles for the 20th century teachers, but also it is very exciting and novel experience when you wish to exist in this present era. Yes, it is very much exciting and it is very much having this novel experiences. Best of all are the relationship that we develop with many of our students, some of their parents, and cherished friends and colleagues. So this is actually, I'm just reminding all the teachers attending this FDP, is a lifetime achievement for all of us. So teacher's journey is that kind of, uh, you know, a long-term association, long-term relationship building process. Is this important? Now, I have three questions to all of you. What if your architect cheated his way through mathematics class? Will your new home be safe? The first question. If you want to buy a new house and you want to build a new house and you think that your architect is not good enough in mathematics or some kind of calculations, it is all about knowing metrics. So do you think that the new home or to be the new home would be very safe for you to stay? Not. Second, your lawyer paid for a copy of the bar exam to study. Will he be able to give you the justice? And number third, your tax consultant hired someone to write his papers and he paid for. Does he know enough to complete your tax forms properly? See, this is where we have to understand the journey of a teacher starts and we become responsible for every citizen. So be it a tax consultant, be it a lawyer that offer you justice or justice to the society, or an architect that ultimately built a safe house for everybody. Rewards and way forwards. So these three questions is very important to understand, and this so is our profession, and we should be very proud that we are into such a rewarding profession. The reward for teaching are immediate, sometime not, maybe it isn't debatable, but yes, sometime it is immediate as well and long term. We get to hear students speaking a new language we have taught them, because a teacher teaches a new language to the student, and the new language the students used to speak. And when you hear that, it is an immediate rewarding. Playing an instrument they had never held before. So think of a music teacher. If you are a teacher into a music class or any arts or such profession, I mean, when you teach playing an instrument and you see the student is doing amazing, I mean, that gives you an instant happiness. And analyzing literature in a book they have read for the first time, I mean, we are talking about the kind of book review process that we do an institution of higher education. We observe students learning to write, multiplying polynomial, baking a cake, or creating an artistic masterpiece, as well as mastering many other objectives. So it gives actually an immediate uh, happiness, and when it become an profession of such student, that give you a long term uh, rewards. We know, if not for the environment we created and the nurturing we provided, the students would not have this kind of attributes to sell their own or to call it their own. you know the students actually in the long run process, they sometime give you this reward, this recognition, So, I mean, such experiences, what the student normally claims that this is their profession by now. Actually, it is a big reward for every teacher. Sometime I have a few things to read, but before I read, I want all of you to read it. Excuses that we often encounter with. Sometime the teacher asks a student, and the student has various such answers about a teacher. It's okay if I don't get the time, maybe a homework or kind of a small project that you offer. Then we talk about the teaching learning process. The session was boring because when we talk about the 21st century teaching learning process in the class, some of the teacher attend the lecture, some of the student do not even attend the lecture of the same teacher, but it is clearly not a certification to a teacher. But yes, this is their thought process. We often encounter with such issues because journey of a teacher is also associated with this. My professor expect too much. Yes, that's the another direct answer from a student, particularly in not in the school going students, but yes, into higher educations. Again, into little more higher into degree or post graduations, student usually give excuses like they are too busy to write their paper, thesis, dissertation. It can be daily course, it can be their daily on the job training or kind of thing, or not getting time. Such kind of excuses that we always encounter with as a teacher. And most important, everyone does it. So why not we, the student, compare themselves with others? This is why I told you this is one negative aspects that is reflected in the student side. But yes, we need to understand we always encounter. But then yes, we are teacher, we are matured one, we know how to tackle it correct or making a corrective statement out of this negative statement or negative sentences. So there are certain clauses for students and researchers in the present time. Sometimes we have to wait a long time. Yes, recently I received an email. I'm talking about my experience. I recently received an email from a student. Are you Mr. Mishra? It is in my inbox. As the subject heading, my interest was piqued. I was wondering that who was looking for me. Almost 12 years before, this particular person, now she's married with children of her own, was a student in my class, and now she wanted me to know that she had been thinking about me and our experiences together. Given that there are many days that I wonder why I, why I still stick into this profession, given my frustrations and challenges. I was elated for days afterward, knowing that all the work is sometimes so appreciated. Think of it. Even I, as a teacher, sometimes think like other teachers think. But then, yes, what is the most rewarding and appreciated one is this one example and clause uh, from a student, a researcher who studied under me and thought of me after several years. So this is the profession that we create a very longer association with students. So journey as a teacher is always even for long term, not for the immediate rewards, but for long term as well. Now, taste of commitment of a teacher is very interesting. In spite of all the benefits and joys that accompany a teacher's journey, there are also incredible challenges. The number of new teachers who abandon the profession after a few years is disturbing. We see that our fellow colleagues joining us, leaving the profession in between. We also witness as a teacher, as many as one third within first few years. If you look at your own statistics, after spending several years into this teaching profession, so you'll also, I think, echo similar kind of, the statistics as I'm doing now. We acknowledge there are many obstacles facing teachers today. Some are related to the classrooms, others are related to the systems in which a teacher work or the teachers work. Still, others the result of larger societal issues. So there could be many issues. It is not confined within classroom teaching learning issues. It can be a system problem, the system within the system that we work, we teachers work, and other societal influences that where we normally uh, reside or work. In some cases, there has been a loss of faith in the system itself. But then this is nothing, but this is a test of commitment of a teacher. So we as teacher, we always are called to be committed and committed towards society, towards the ecosystem of learning process. Test of commitment, I'm continuing with this. Few of the examples, very interesting. One most commonly found is disruptive students. I'm sorry, in between I'm asking. I'm audible, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Test of commitment of a teacher. I'm just giving you a few examples. Probably you all are with me. So it is first is disruptive students, one or more, annoying, disruptive. Student seems to take 75 years of total attention during the entire day. So you are just left with 25% of your own attention to put somewhere into productive system. Now think of one such clause, one such example. Disruptive student can be so havoc to your teaching learning process or journey as a teacher. Second, extent of assessment. We all teachers always say that we administer quizzes, tests, benchmarks, grading system, recording all those, giving feedback to the parents, to the society, to the higher ups, and taking away from, I mean, all time consuming tasks. So extent of assessment is so much so that now it is CCE, we call continuous comprehensive evaluation process, even into higher education. So we are also part of it, and we are administering it quite frequently, more than the classroom teaching learning process. But then that has become part and parcel of our career or our life. Unappreciative students, we care so much. I mean, we as teacher always think that we care so much so about the students, and students are found to be little careful, or they are absolutely careless sometime. Yes, unappreciative students we encounter with, and this is nothing. When we deal with such students, it is test of our commitment as a teacher. Parents who undermine our efforts. But yes, I would like to tell you one thing, one very important thing. See, all teachers are also being graded. Teachers are graded like according to their maturity, according to their length of services, according to their seniorities into our hierarchical system that is prevailing in our AICT UGC process. Because those are the teachers I would be telling you in my next slides. There are different teachers handle different students, and all the teachers are not expected to handle all such kind of things at one go. So there are hierarchical process for which we should as a teacher must be responsible in handling. Parents who undermine our efforts, when I talk about our, means the teacher's effort. We spend all day working with the children, doing our best to support and encourage them, and then feel helpless when they return home to the dysfunctional families and undermine our efforts. So this is quite happening. right from the preschool to even the graduate level colleges, everywhere you see the parents who undermine the teachers' efforts. Then interruptions of schedule. The schedule is constantly changing. It can be like you think of your everyday course at the college campus, and you will understand your constantly changing schedule. Maybe fire drill, maybe shelter in peace drill, maybe assemblies are taking place at the college, maybe late start days during winter, maybe it is rainy days, early out days. Kind of these are, there could be several such examples. There are also shorter calendars due to mandated testing, furlough days, or limited budgets. So interruptions of schedule is always there. I mean, we as teacher, we sometimes feel that we have lesser teaching learning schedule than because of such kind of interruptions in between. But then these interruptions are quite possible. I'm continuing with the same taste of commitments of a teacher. As a teacher, we also face demanding curriculum. Yes, uh, this FDP is all about the pedagogical reforms and this thing. So you must be knowing, you must be aware of demanding curriculum. This particular demand, if I talk about an AICT approved courses, technical programs, the demand comes from the industry, the innovations and everything are incorporated appropriately in a balanced form in the curriculum. So the amount of curriculum teachers are expected to cover has increased, tremendously has increased over a period of time. And if I talk about NEP 2020, more emphasized has been laid on these, that leads to the experiential learning process. Doing more with less, there are fewer resources in the classroom, out of the date textbook or technology, and increasing class sizes. Sometimes, yes, in granted it's increasing class sizes may not be the case with self-financing institutions, but yes, if I talk about majorly into technical programs, increasing class sizes are happening, and textbooks are sometimes are outdated. You are more into the newer resources than fewer resources available. So this is doing more with less kind of thing. Remaining current here I mean to say remaining updated with technology. So if I exist in 20th century, and if I need to exist in 21st century, so I need to be well updated with the current with technologies that is available. We need to constantly update existing software. It can be software, hardware within a teacher I'm talking about. Learn new programs, add new technologies to our repertoire. So what exactly mean to say, whatever the updation is required on self to be a effective into teaching learning process. I mean, we need to get ourselves updated with the technologies available or constant upgradation of technology. Then social media and mobile technology, we teachers, we always struggled with our own technologies, and we always dealt with the students distractions due to all these students obsessions with the social media and mobile devices, everything. But yes, when the positive outcome of it is, you must have experienced as a teacher during the time of pandemic. So it played a very key role in effective teaching learning process when we all did it online. So it is not always that we as teachers struggle, but yes, we struggled uh, in the past, but not maybe the present. It is well accepted. Staying updated with pedagogy, there are professional development workshops and conferences to attend, and we as teachers, we are attending it. So be it FDP, be it MDP, we are doing it, we are attending it, we are writing research papers in journals, we are publishing books. So we are into recent research in our specialized domain. So we as teacher, we are all doing it. So that was very, very important. Now coming to the other part, as I told you, that life cycle of a teacher. I told you there are various forms of teacher. And when I talk about various forms of teacher, means a teacher is like becomes matured in like you see in products life cycle, it becomes matured, it becomes more reflective. So a teacher may be new and then attains an maturity at a later stage during the entire life cycle. Now, if I talk about life cycle of a teacher, reviewing the earlier PPT, you must have seen it, and point of tests of commitment list that I have already discussed in detail, or others you might consider. There are many reasons. Just a second. There are many reasons to reconsider one's decision to go into teaching is the first place. For many, I mean, it is a sense of commitment that always tells a individual that going into teaching is the first place. It is an passionate thinking of a thought process of a human being. It is no wonder that so many in our profession feel overwhelmed and have lost some of their initial passion and enthusiasm, as I already discussed. Then in the first few years, people lose their uh, passion, and in between they leave. Yet there are ebbs and flows in the development and life cycle of any profession and during any life journey. I am not talking about teacher's journey, I'm talking about any profession. So any profession, I mean to say, you can be a medical transcriptionist, you can be a technocrat, you can be a uh, uh, hospitality or tourism professional. You can be in any profession, and it can be a part of during your life journey, life cycle of a career teacher. And you think that you are a teacher and teaching is your career. Students are not the only one learning in the class. So this is one thing, because ultimately you as a teacher, you are teaching the entire society. So you are influencing the society through your students, and you are not only teaching the students in the classroom, you are also learning practically from the students. So one of the gift of teaching is that we are privileged to learn almost as much as our students. I hope you are with me, because we learn a lot of things from the students. Every day presents opportunities to increase our knowledge, our understanding of the world, to get not only a deeper appreciation of the lives of children, but also a greater understanding of ourselves. So by such interactions, what happens? We we enhance our thought process. We increase our understanding of the world. We understand the lives or the life cycle of a child, and this is our greater understanding about ourselves. When you know about you, when as a teacher, when you know about you, you absolutely know about your student. So such skills are very, very important. The skills that makes us effective teachers involves persuasion, explaining things in comprehensible terms, connecting with others in trusting relationships, inspiring people to work harder and reach further. We always you just think your role play as a teacher, what you do, and how you call your uh, process as very effective. I mean, it is, or maybe comprehensive in terms. So you are actually connecting with your students. You build an trustworthy relationship with the students. You inspire them to work harder. I mean, you are motivating them. And then you, you act like a catalyst in reaching them further, means attaining the maturity in their professions of the future. So you are making them future ready. And that's what we do in all our technical programs under AICT. Interestingly, these are some attributes that makes us better friends, family members, partners, parents, and of course, I have not written a good human being. So when I talk about certain attributes of a teacher, these are the attributes. You become very friendly. You become a well-acquainted family members who understand the nature, the likes and dislikes of each family members, and then the partners. So if I talk about the same thing like partners, if I talk about a teacher, students become your uh, part of your life, and parents are similar to the mentors who actually prepared us for the future need, future profession. Additionally, training and experience help us to become more attuned to others needs and more responsive to them. So when we talk about our future skills need to be shaped. Now, if I talk about the future skill of a teacher, I mean, you need to have certain additional such kind of training and expertise that can be achieved only through the needs and responsiveness of a teacher. So, how well you receive those responses. So by now, we can summarize with the previous slides. Teachers do not believe in one-way communication. Teachers, teachers have the the listening. Teachers have also has a very developed listening skills. I mean, who listens to the from the stakeholders. Now, as I always told you about certain other aspects, I was also about to highlight about various forms of teacher. So we as a teacher, when we think that we are teacher, we are new to this profession, then we become little mature, more matured, then we becomes veteran, and then we retire from this profession sometime, and then we call it uh, call of the day. So forms. Now pre-service teacher, what they think? You think like a teacher. I want to be teacher when I grow up. It is similar to uh, a person who dreams to be a teacher. It is an abrupt change, indeed, making the transition from civilian to the member of the corps of teacher. You know, civilian from civilian, you are now. It is a transition period to become a teacher. So you think like a teacher. For many beginners, this is the first time you passed ever jeans in the closet to make another clothes selection. So you think of, selecting a profession. You are now addressed by your title and the last name. So you are a pre-service teacher. Then the new teacher. The new teacher who always think like, I have keys to my own classroom, but how will I learn their names? Many students, many things are there. And knowing students by their name is giving them a very personal touch. Simply saying hey or some other kind of salutation, uh, doesn't make any difference, other than the only thing, that personal touch here I want to highlight is when you call them by the student's name. The next stage, this is the next journey of stages of teacher, involves the transition from student to beginner. You begin to learn. You have prepared for this awesome responsibility, and within a certain amount of trepidation, you put your organizational skills. Now here you develop those organizational skills. Now, this organizational skills means some kind of, managing classrooms, creating an environment. These are basically related to a teacher's organizational skills. Discovering that things are not necessarily what you anticipated. Even with the best of intention and most rigorous planning, you soon learn that one of the most important survival skills is the ability to go with the flow, to alter your plans according to the moment. Now, what do you think? I'll tell you a few examples. You know, you think like when you become the new teacher in CBCS system. Uh, I hope I'm audible to all of you. I can't see you, but then yes, my interruption is in between.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you so much. See, you just think of your role play as a new teacher. When we had transition from our annual system to CBCS system, that was choice-based credit system, and we ventured into semester system. Things were not adapted that easily. We resisted as a teacher sometime, somewhere, at some place, but then yes, we adopted it, and now we have successfully implemented it. Similarly, NEP 2020 pedagogical changes till experiential learning process of the students to make a happier citizen is the core objectivity. We as new teacher, now what is your role play? Your survival skill is what? So that is where the new teacher has to understand. You need to put all your organizational skills in operation. You should discover things which are now necessary, and you are expected to learn, and the same thing is reflected by your work, and that become important survival skills. That is your ability to go with the flow, because that is the need, that is the objective. Third kind of teacher is a proficient teacher. The proficiency we call. I can't believe I get paid to be with student all the day long. A proficient teacher always say, I can't believe that I get paid for to be with the students for all the day I spent with them. Most teachers develop a sense of competence and increased confidence. At this stage, the teachers normally, the faculty members develop a sense of competence and increased confidence. By this point, a teachers anticipate what the students' behavior will be like and what misconception they might bring it to their table. You have enough experience to be able to compare students' behavior in a broader normative context. You not only develop as a faculty to predict and anticipate difficulties, but you have accumulated all those knowledge, all those repertoire of copying those strategies. At this level, actually you solve the problem of the students that easily, because you think that you get paid to be with the student all day long solving their problems. But yes, because you become more mature into this teacher's life cycle, and you behave, you own something. So in a more broader normative context, you become a mature teacher here, to whom we call a proficient teacher. Then we are talking about the veteran teacher. The term the veteran teacher, I am really good at this. I'm not talking about an egoistic world or a egoistic word. You eventually become an expert of your domain, because you are into your domain for number of years, maybe more than 2 decades or so. Especially you are reflective about your work and driven to become more effective at what you do. Now, effectiveness comes here is result oriented, means whatever the task is levied on you by the system, by the authoritative way of doing job, because you accomplish it I mean, you becomes very result oriented at this stage. So at this stage, you are well aware of the strength you bring to your job, because you know your domain specialization that correctly, as well as having learned way to minimize some of your weaknesses. See, every teacher has that weakness, but then it's non-reflective when you become a veteran teacher. You know how to motivate even the most reluctant, disengaged students. So here, you know how to cope up with those kind of students. Sometimes they disagree. Sometimes they are not engaged in the classroom activities, so they're most reluctant, they're most disengaged, and you have the tricks and games to make them engaged somewhere at a very productive uh, way, the veteran teachers. So you eventually become an expert of your domain at a later stage in your profession. Final reflection. Winning teachers, I mean, they are not the type, but yes, it is important. I know what I'm doing. Teachers, why I'm giving you this, because normally we see our senior colleagues at these stages, and these winning teachers, they always think like they know what they do. So teachers at this particular stage of their career, uh, whether it was a brief or long tenure, yes, of course, most likely in government jobs, they are very comfortable with what you do and appreciate the rhythm of the year. Yes, they understand that a particular academic year, how they should go, how they should be planned, and things should be executed. So they know what they are doing. So they know each stages of that is what I always call appreciate the rhythm of the year. So they know in which semester, odd semester or even semester, has better or more productive weeks to teach, kind of thing, or where people should be engaged somewhere like in curricular or extracurricular activities, or somewhere or others, like when to implement. I mean, they understand the entire academic curriculum, academic planner, academic calendar, and the rhythm of it. Each stage of forming groups in classes will pass. Just as in the beginning of your career as a teacher, the cycles begin anew. It seems it takes a lot of energy to get throughout the day. Yes, at this stage, you require a lot of energy to get that particular day to go through. So you not only become, I mean, I do not see that you become physically weak, but yes, sometimes you are mentally winning. So it happens when you are into this profession for a longer period, or a long stint, or a brief tenure of your career. Then, sorry, the burnt out or the bored out teachers, another day, another pound. you know a typical thought process I never thought of, but then yes, it is funny part of understanding the another phase of teacher. Here is another variation of the teacher just described. Despite all the efforts that a teacher, I mean, they put throughout their profession, throughout their career, they continue to be at this stage somewhere somehow. So continued teaching is not a good match for all of us. If teachers do not develop their skills from building relationship to time management to advocating for changes, and are not motivated to keep improving, it seems as if the stresses were overwhelm them, or their enthusiasm diminishes significantly at certain age, certain stage, certain phase of career. I mean, a teacher normally encounter with such things. Of course, that's what uh, the the professional world says, that you should have your future skill ready. Now, that is the future skill of a teacher. Now, certain activities for students, sorry, for the attendees who are uh, listening to this FDP, I have 4 questions to ask. Of course, as part of the procedural need, there would be some kind of MCQs, but then, yes, I have something that you should take away from this session, that how did you first decide to become a teacher? You should answer yourself. And this was the most likely not a choice that was made in a single moment of inspiration, but rather a decision that evolved over time. I gave my example. I was a corporate guy. I worked for a couple of years, and then I thought to be into this teaching profession, and I am into this teaching profession for quite a long time. So that is a transition. But then this decision was not evolved. Overnight. It took a lot of time, and inspiration somewhere it came to one's mind. I mean, that's the first question. How did you first decide to become a teacher? My second question is, shadow a master teacher for a day, not just anyone so identified, but rather a professional who you know has extraordinary skills, maybe your teacher, maybe a teacher's teacher, and exceptional talent as a function of her or his vast experience. So you think like, uh, when you were a student and somebody actually has sowed that seed in you for this professional journey, whom you call your mentor. I mean, shadow that master teacher for a day. Number third question is, consider your current stage of development in the life cycle of a teacher. Wherever you must be in the first cycle, or you must be in the veteran cycle, somewhere, somehow. But compare your own feeling, your own thought process, your own aspirations and ambitions to all this described so far, and where you stand now. And my fourth question is, it may feel daunting to consider all those things you will learn in these coming years, but it is a true that you have already accomplished so much to get to where you are now. So you are not a ordinary teacher, you are an extraordinary faculty. You take self pride in that. But yes, if you think that you are a extraordinary professional, then please mention those points that you are having. I hope I am audible. My screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I was talking about some possible consequences of his sheer negligence in this noble profession as a teacher. Now you think of yourself. I mean, we talked so much about journey as a teacher, certain ethics or practices of a teacher. Is it worth taking the risk? And if you take the risk, then there could be rejection for substandard work that we teacher do. Now, when I talk about a rejection for substandard work, I mean, institution of higher education has the defined parameter for it. I mean, be it you know uh, UGC 2009 regulations for thesis or dissertation submission, or plagiarism check process, or many such other duplicacies are there. So rejection for substandard work is always there for teacher. Suspension or dismissal from profession is another consequences, right? Sometimes we get notifications for this kind of risk that is involved, and loss of
Can't hear you, sir.
Not audible, sir.
I think there is the connectivity lost by the Dr. Subhashish Mishra, sir. So I am contacting him and I will get back to you. Uh, just wait for the 2 minutes. He is joining now. There is a power cut from the College of Mishra, sir. So he will join through the mobile.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Give me a moment. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, visible now.
Okay. There are some network issues. Just please be with me for some time. So, as I told, there could be possible consequences for CR negligence in this noble profession that we have chosen as our career. There could be rejection for substandard work that teacher is never expected to. Then suspension or dismissal from the profession. That is another uh, process. I mean, where you get disrespect. Then notification normally we receive from the higher ups, from the regulatory authorities for non-compliances, and loss of reputation in amongst in the community. So that is another thing that we normally get. Now, I was highlighting the academic integrity. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So rationale for academic integrity. Integrity is basically the pure form in a teacher. It is something like when we call teaching as a noble profession. I mean, we need to have this academic integrity in ours. So is your academic reputation valuable to you? You have to ask yourself this question, because when you attend any kind of orientation, we are always reminded of this academic integrity is nothing but our topic of discussion today, that is the ethics in or ethical practices in teaching learning process. So we do not limit our own learning process. We learn from any spheres. Then the consequences are not worth the risk. We have already discussed about consequences. These consequences are very dangerous. So we as teacher, we have got no guts to receive those kind of risks in this entire cycle. Education is not an us versus them game. It is learning to learn, unlearn, relearn. So education is not basically an biased one. It goes beyond that. Cheating or lame excuses are unethical behavior. Normal human being might have all this, but yes, such kind of excuses a teacher never has and never should have. So this is another academic integrity that a teacher should have. $1 million question now. What to do as teacher? Every teacher asks themselves, and you have probably the answer. I'm answering all these questions since my PPTs started. A question comes, we should develop ethical practices. We should develop ethical practices. How? Developing ethical practices, I mean, yes, there are many ways in developing it. I mean, it is how we as teacher having those attributes actually helps in developing those ethical practices. It never comes to a gene, it is to be developed basically. Right attributes, when you talk about knowledge management, when you talk about the skill upgradations and shaping the attitude. It is not for every human being, but yes, these right attributes are confined to a teachers. So enhancing knowledge, or when I talk about this is the most important attribute and it comes number one, means for knowledge sake or for knowledge creation or for knowledge management, whatever a teacher has to do. I mean, teacher has to sometime we need to learn, relearn, unlearn. All these processes are there. I mean, we go through all such processes. Then about skills, when we talk about AICT is sponsoring such kind of Atal FDP, so of course, at the end of the day, it is skill enhancement. Enhancing such skills that suits the profession most is, I mean, how you acquire it and how you, I mean, how it is related to helping a student in shaping the skills, future skills. And number third is very important, attitude. Yes, teachers are expected to have a better positive shaped attitude than anybody else in this world. So I will not throw any more light, because teachers should have this kind of right attributes. Or remember, now when I summarize, we sometimes as teacher, a normal human being, we try to find any meaning using the software or some means of search engines. But it is basically such kind of search engine or those softwares, actually they do not find words its meaning, but it's a teacher basically who makes such differences to in a person, or in a person when I talk about in the students in their personal professional pursuits. So teacher's role is very, very important, not challenging, but it's rewarding as well. Here I end my session with a note of thanks for the opportunity that was given to me, and I would now make it open for a question answer series. If anybody is having any doubt, please feel free to ask. I'll stop my yes. So faculty members, if you have any questions, anything to ask, uh, being into this teaching profession, you are absolutely uh, encouraged to ask questions.
Punit Besan has raised the hand, so I think he is having some question.
Yeah, please raise hand, or you can use the chat box. Mr. Divyesh Kumar Doshi, uh, if you have any question, please feel free to ask, because uh, into such FDP, interactions are given priorities. Interactions are very important, very productive.
Sir is basically from the Orissa.
Okay.
And sir, many participants from the West Bengal and Orissa has joined this FDP.
That's so interesting. I have just to
Sangeeta Seller, I think.
Sir,
he is
good
having
evening.
some question. Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello. Sir, good evening. Very nice and highly informative session. And with the kind of experience you have in the industry. Sir, I would like to know about, as you were saying, about the relationship we build with our students and with their parents,
Right.
and yes, these relationships uh, should be for long term, so that they are able to connect with us later on in their life if they need, and they would like to share, like you said, one of your students
Correct.
would like to be in connect with you. Sir, can you give some pointers which can help in building these kind of relationship with students?
See, indeed, a good question, because to a teacher, no question is a bad question, because we are the best listener probably in this planet Earth. Uh, Only thing that I want to tell you, when we teach and we interact with students, always remember that we connect with the society through the students. So students are basically in media. So when we think that we get instant connections with the students, I mean, the media or the language, or in Suddha Hindi, if I talk about the alphas that we always use, uh, basically makes the difference, basically makes sense uh, all the time, all the while. So is basically a normative method, how we connect with the students for a longer objectivity, not for this year, or not for this. We are not confined for this academic session. So to me, uh, it is very important to know a student's character, and then being with the students, make the students more productive, and more productive in a way, like make the students feel that they are valued somewhere, somehow. I mean, these are basically the tasks of a teacher. Role play.
Thank you, sir.
Sangeeta Seller, ma'am.
Any
Hello, good evening.
Yes,
Good evening, sir.
good evening.
Okay, such a nice session, sir. Sir, I have it may be a minor question or whatever. Sir, as we are now conducting online lectures for the students, when students we get offline and it is not that difficult to make a busy student for 1 hour to make them concentrate in the lecture halls. But how to make a concentrate or how to make them to stick to our lecture in the online or
I
one and
understand.
half 2 hour
Appreciate your
lecture?
concern, ma'am, because this is not the case with
Thank you.
you, Sangeeta, ma'am. It is case with most of the teachers. See, to make the session more productive, I mean, we need to. That's how I always tell, because, for example, if it is a theoretical lecture, I will not comment on it. But if it is an theoretical plus practical approaches are there, then we can make it more productive in a way. Like, we can illustrate various examples. We can set certain things that create more interest in the students, make it to an extent of exponential learning process even through online system, where students get easily connected and involved. See, involvement is very, very important. See, as if we are conducting an offline classes, even though we are going online. So there is no distinct difference between conducting offline and online, because ultimate goal of a teacher is to make it more productive. So productiveness of the class depends on when you have inclusiveness and when you make the teachers, the students engaged. Engaging students in, I mean, is not a difficult task of a teacher. You can engage the students in various forms. I mean, through quizzes, through some other different medium of instructions, or many such things. I mean, you can incorporate those in your domain specialization, and I think that would solve your query. I understand, and most important, when you highlighted uh, the teacher's role, like you, in PG, for PG students. PG students tends to be more mature. Think of the students who are in preschools, or maybe pre-boards, or maybe in stepped into they are beginners in higher education. For them it is of course tough, but then yes, it is the teacher's role, teacher's responsibility to make them engaged.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I will certainly try to make my lectures very productive. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Any more questions from the participants side? You can use the chat box. Meanwhile, I would like to extend my hearty thanks to Dr. Naitik Trivedi, coordinator and principal ma'am of AR Pharmacy College, and congratulate the entire team for their effort in implementing FDP program, which is need of the hour. This is very much important for teachers like us, and we must take pride in it.
Sir,
I wish the participants all success, and I'm sharing my. I have already shared my PPT in the form of, the notes in the form of PPT with all the, with the coordinator, Dr. Naitik Trivedi. He would be sharing this with you. And please don't forget that each session is equally important uh, for the mandatory MCQ test and your attendance regulations as per AICT.
Sir, thank you very much. You have taken nice topic, journey as a teacher, ethics in a teaching, and you rightly said, sir, teacher's journey is the endless journey. And you rightly said that not to give the negative comments to the students. And we are very much thankful to you, sir. You have given your precious time from your busy schedules. If convenient to for the all the participant, kindly turn on your video. We can take the snap with the sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Request
Any
to all
more
the
questions?
participants, kindly turn on your video. uh, Dr. Subhashish Mishra sir, is it possible to turn on your video?
I have done so. If I will do it from my mobile, let me try.
There is the 3 plenary session for the tomorrow. One is by the Dr. DM Patel sir, who will give the plenary session. His topic is awaited. Next is the Rajiv June sir, who is from the SVKM Institute of Technology, Dhule, Maharashtra, will deliver their talk on effective pedagogy in contemporary higher education. Next is Dr. Suresh Jain sir, who will deliver their talk on outcome-based education and its implementation. If anybody from you wants to give session or any talk on the related topic with the FDP, then it is highly invitable. And prepare your brief notes who cover the your achievements, your educational status, near about 2 to 3 slides. We'll ask to any participant, kindly present this about yourself. Mishra sir.
Yes, I'm audible.
Yes sir. Yes sir. So kindly turn on your video, all the participant.
My video is on, I think.
Yeah sir. Okay, so you can leave the session. We'll meet tomorrow, and I have given you the schedule. So join timely.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, organizers.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.